is going on YouTube? I am back with another video, and one of the most asked for videos, asked for answers in my DMs, comments, and so forth was how was my Scatpack beating Hellcats? You've been following me for a while, or you've watched a lot of videos on my channel. You'll see that I had a Scatpack 1320 that consistently beat cars it shouldn't have, including supercharged Hellcats. And today, we're gonna be talking about how to beat a Hellcat 101. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and play a few clips of me beating Hellcats for the non-believers.
Damn. Once you shake, you lock.
All right, you guys just watched me beat a Trackhawk and a wide-body Hellcat Red Eye on the 8-mile track at Mooresville in North Carolina. Physical proof, again, 1320 has been my brand, it's what I do. And I'm gonna pass along some of the things that I did to my Scatpack 1320 so you can do to your Scatpack to go out there and beat Hellcats. The first thing is I had a Scatpack 1320. I did not have a regular Scatpack from factory. If you don't know what the Scatpack 1320 is, it is the poor man's Demon. There was the Demon trans brake or transmission in the car and a couple of Demon features within that Scatpack 1320. It still had the 392 6.4 liter engine, naturally aspirated, no difference than your 392. So if you're a 392 guy, don't worry, you don't have to go get a 1320 to be able to do it, but you do need a Scatpack. The second thing, you need to go get a brand of long tube headers. Cooks is what I use if you want to follow me specifically. And then of course, you want to get a tune, specifically an aggressive tune, especially on the bottom end, because your long tubes are going to help on the higher RPMs and higher end range. Next piece, I had E85. I was able to switch from 93 to E85, but I had to be on one or the other. I did not have a flex fuel kit. I either had full E85 or full 93. I ran E85 fully on the track. And with that, I also had a leg maker intake, again, with a pretty aggressive tune from Mass Acceleration. So when you're talking about actual mods, those are the only mods I had. I spent about $7,000. I'm not gonna talk about how much horsepower I had, but if you're looking for that, go to Mass Acceleration, ask for the Toro package. The next thing, I did have a full Ford Star F14 drag pack. I had a beadlock in the rear, 17-inch, and then I had the front skinnies 5-inch width wheels. It took a lot of weight off the car. And of course, which leads me to the next thing, is I was fully gutted. My trunk, my back seat, my passenger seat, everything weight-wise was taken out of my car. I followed in the footsteps of Scavenger 1320 by taking out all the extra weight, because every 100 pounds you take out is 1/10 of a second in your drag time. I did have a Brom racing seat as well in the car. You can see in some of the videos. I was able to get up out of the hole really, really quick. But the next two things are the biggest pieces to this puzzle. I will sit there and tell you, I knew that car like the back of my hand. I knew when it wasn't running right, when something didn't sound right, when it shifted bad, when it didn't shift on the exact point. I knew literally anything you could think of, I knew about that car. So the biggest piece is you gotta learn the car. You gotta get out there and practice. You're not gonna go right out and start beating Hellcats because you got these mods, right? You really have to learn the car, figure out some small details, what works best for your tune, launching the car, all sorts of stuff. I am gonna give you my take, but that is big. And then lastly, you gotta learn how to drive, right? You can't just go and hit the gas and think you're gonna go in a straight line. There are some keys that I'm gonna talk about right here that you're just gonna have to learn, right? First things first, I launched anywhere between 1900 and 2100 RPM. Now people are like, oh, that's not very high. There's cars that launch at 4,000 RPM. I got you. I did not use the trans brake. I was a foot brake person. But what I noticed within my tune and what I was doing with my company, my shop, 1900, I was on the low end of still gear one, and as soon as I took off, it launched very, very hard, which got me out in the first 60 foot, which is where I won most of my races. So the longer I could get out without shifting a gear and slowing down, the better off I was. So I was launching at 1900 to 2100 RPM, in getting out in the first 60 feet. That was my game. I was gonna beat you in the first 60 feet, and if I could do that, 9 times out of 10, I won the race. My tire pressure in the rear was anywhere between 14 to 17 PSI. Now that's very low, but that was the purpose of beadlocks, right? That is why I went a full drag pack. Then the next thing, I had an app. I practiced the tree on a daily. I figured out, and through demonology, or Herman, my guy, shout out to OG, that if you left by that third light, or the moment you see that third light turn yellow, you were gonna be able to launch at a really, really good rate, or at a good time, right, reaction time wise. And I was able to dial that in very, very well, especially at Mooresville being my home track. So practice the tree, right? Go on the app, practice as much as you can as far as at the drag strip when you can. And then of course, with this, it's 8th mile only. You guys are not gonna beat a Hellcat in the quarter mile. They have too much top end with the supercharger. They're gonna take you out in the quarter mile. I only beat one Hellcat in the quarter mile. The rest of them overtook me by about a half a car to a car. Next piece, all right, is heating your tires anywhere between 3 to 7 seconds. If you have the ET Street R's, that is what I use. And it all depends on how many passes you have done already. Obviously, you don't want to continue to heat them up too much. Then you'll end up having too sticky of a tire and or lose the rotational force that you need. Minor things, you guys. And then lastly, this is a secret that I wasn't going to tell, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway. Short stage, right? The reason Dunk Master actually talked to me about this and told me this, if you short stage, that leaves you that much room to creep or leave that much earlier before that light hits green, because you deep stage, you don't have much room to fail, right? So I was always taught the short stage, that way I had a little bit of area to move, that way I could hit the gas just a little bit before the next person, and again, beat you in that 60 feet. So you can see there are a few things to be able to beat a Hellcat. So I'm gonna talk about what it feels like to be inside my car. I'm gonna play that video now. Locked in, doing my burnout. And by this time, I've done a few burnouts, so I didn't need to hold the burnout long. Yes, I am racing a Hellcat. And this is early on. This is Memphis Scary Fast. So I think this is like 2020, 2021. I was still new to racing and still trying to figure out the car. But you can see once I stage, my eyes go up to the light, checking the RPM. And then at that point, I'm just focused on the light. And you can see we both take off. I couldn't even believe it myself. Look at. Now again, that was in end of 2020, beginning of 2021 at Memphis International Raceway for Scary Fast, a YouTube event where I actually raced Godspeed, Mod to Fame, Wide Body Nation, a bunch of cars that I should not race, which leads me to my next topic. This isn't just for Hellcats. I was racing pro-charged cars, other supercharged cars like the car I have now. I was beating a lot of cars in my 1320. Go back and watch a lot of my racing videos. I have a modded 1320 race or a drag racing playlist as well. Make sure you go check those out. And I'm gonna leave you guys with a lot more races. Enjoy the videos, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and we're out.